Well, good evening. Here we go again with another bit of a shortwave radio comparison. And tonight we're going to have a look at possibly some of the worst shortwave receivers on the market today. But when I say that, you have to consider that these were also very cheap. So you know, if you are only interested in having a bit of a go and didn't want to spend any particular money on a shortwave receiver, well, these might be for you. Alternatively, if you've got a child and you're trying to get them interested in a hobby, possibly consider some of these. But anyway, they are not really good. So if you're a serious shortwave listener, they're basically not much more than a toy. The first one here, as you can see, is a Tecsun R9012. It's a fairly large radio. The only redeeming feature about it, it's got good audio, but it's got quite limited band coverage for shortwave. Pardon the shake in the camera again. I'll just turn that up. And in here, I think that's 6.4 megahertz. Yeah, so very well, virtually no selectivity. The tuning is basically frequency counter and tuned by an analog method, and it's very sloppy in tuning. And but that does have some clock functions and alarm functions and bits and pieces like that. But you know, it's one of those radios. It's a standby sort of unit, or you can, you know, take it away with you, and if you lose it, well, you know, you're not going to cry tears of blood. The next one is its smaller brother, and this is I'm just trying to think now what we have here. It's the Tecsun RD. Pardon me for a minute. I can't really see that. Let's see if I can get in closer there. I think it's the RD940, and again, like its bigger brother, it's an analog tuned radio with a digital frequency counter. It's got some sort of clock functions and stuff like that. Up the top, you've got a slide wave change switch, and this one is actually better. I've ranged these from the worst to the best, and this one's slightly better than its bigger brother. It's got more tuning ranges in it, and there you can hear the ABC Northern Territory coming through. You can hear some noise from the camera as well, but it only tunes in fairly coarse increments, as you can see there. Now, beside this radio, we've got the Degen, and this is, well, let's have a look at this. It's a DE27. Not a bad. These aren't a bad little radio. Again, they're an analog tuned unit with just a digital display on it, but they do have a very good display, as you can see there. 4835 tunes a little bit better. Good backlighting on it. It's got a up-down volume control, as you can see over here, and again, that's on the ABC Northern Territory. You can hear a fair bit of soft muting going on there. It's most likely got a DSP chip in it, and but nonetheless, they're quite well built, these particular radios. Quite reasonable audio for the size. This really is a true pocket radio, and you know, probably it's certainly better than the Tecsun versions, that's for sure. But again, it does have its limitations on frequency coverage, but it is better certainly than the Tecsun. So of the ones with the digital frequency displays that are analog tuned, this one would be the pick of them for sure. It also has USB input that you can plug in an external device and use the speaker. So it's got a little bit more functionality about it, and it's an attractive looking radio nonetheless. So we'll just move that one aside. And the next one is one that I just picked up the other day, and it's from one of our large, in Australia, one of our large department stores. And this is an unbranded unit, just called the RT450. And this one's purely analog, and it's, as you can see there, it's 12 band world radio. Very, very sensitive radio, this one, but it's got quite quirky tuning. Again, it appears to have a DSP chip in it, and it certainly suffers a little bit from soft muting. There's no doubt about that. But you can see there, it's got a very handy sort of tuning sort of LED that gives you an idea when you're on the frequency. LED for your power, and there's also one for FM stereo through earbuds. It's not a bad radio in some respects. Got quite powerful audio. Again, that's on the ABC Northern Territory. It does have long wave in it, so for European viewers, you might be able to find this one in one of the department stores like Tecsun, or what is it, Tesco, or the like. But it's fairly basically made. Tuning's very, very touchy, but it does have, in its favour, it does have quite good band spread on the tuning ranges. Probably the better band spread, funnily enough, than the others. But you really need to be touchy with your tuning. Now, just to complete this this group of radios, and probably by far the best for a pocket radio, it's an absolute cracker. Unfortunately, it's got some limitations in its tuning range, but I really do like this radio. This is the Tecsun R9012, and there's been a lot said about these radios on the net. Purely analog, a pocket radio. As you can see there, the frequency ranges are a little bit limited, and the FM is the Japanese FM bands from 76 to 108. And that's probably the thing that does let that radio down. It will overload like you wouldn't believe on FM. So you virtually got to collapse the antenna completely to get any reasonable FM out of it. But shortwave, it's exceptionally good, and the broadcast band is exceptionally good. But again, you've got to be very, very deft with your tuning. It's just probably drifted off there a little bit. You can see again a LED tuning light there, and again that's the ABC in the Northern Territory. So there we go. There's a number of very cheap analog, well, you virtually say analog radios, even though some have digital displays on them. And just be very aware that of their limitations, but you get what you pay for in life, and you certainly don't have to pay very much for these, and you certainly won't get the performance of the better or the larger shortwave receivers. So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's presentation of some cheapies. You could almost say cheap but nasty. But if I was to go give any recommendations of these radios, the Degen If you wanted one with a digital display, but bearing in mind that it is analog tuned, I'd go for that one. Or if you don't mind just a pocket analog shortwave receiver, I'd certainly go for the Tecsun. They're very, very good radios. Thanks for watching, and look forward to doing the next presentation for you. Hope you've enjoyed. Cheers then.